Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome once again to another market close. Now, this is our regular market close. We're going to have these every week on Wednesdays. So that way there we can sort of get abreast of what's happening in the middle of the week in the market. So as you can tell from the lights behind me, we got a red day. We had a pretty darn red day. So far, 2024 has been red completely. So not so great, not so great on the markets. Of course, we'll start with the heat maps. Let's pull them up. Let's take a look. Holy banana bread. Look at all that red. That's a lot of red over there. Most of the banks are in the red. Look at this. And Brookfield Corporation is 1.63% down. Bank of Nova Scotia is down. Over here in technology, Shopify is down, but Constellation Software is looking pretty strong at plus 1.87. The energy sector, look at the energy sector, guys. This is actually really good. And watch this. I can do this with this heat map. If I click on the energy sector, I can pull up just the energy sector. Look at CNQ up 3%. Suncor up 5.53%. Well, now 5.49% because it's still live. Torlamine is up. Imperial Oil, Synovus, holy cow. Arc Resources, it's looking pretty good for the energy sector. And let's take a look at retail trade as well, just because everybody wants me to say Alimentation Couche-Tard, and they're up 0.49%. Dollarama's up. But look at that. Loblaws is down a little bit. Metro's down. Canadian Tire's down. So it's an interesting day on the market. Let's take a gander at the U.S. market. Oh, wow. That looks more red to me than our Canadian market. I think a little bit of everything is down here. Yeah, this is just absolutely crazy. Oh, let me just take a look. I want to make sure I'm actually looking. Oh, that's because that's not the American market. That is the Australian market. I forgot that we actually changed that the other day. Let's get back to there we go. The S&P 500. Yeah, definitely still red. Not as red as Australia, but there are some benefits. Look at this. Microsoft is up a tiny bit. Apple's down. I expect Apple to be down until they get that whole headset. Their their iWatch issues resolved. Woo! Let's try to learn how to talk today. Nvidia's down. Wow, it's just an interesting day on the market overall. Even little things like we'll pull this up. Like even McDonald's is down. I mean, it's just what can you say? Now. Now, I'm afraid to go to this next one, but we're going to go anyway. Let's take a look at crypto. Holy banana bread. Look at this red. You got Bitcoin down 5%. Ethereum is down. Wow. And that's 5.88%. Look at that. Solana is down 6.87%. XRP is down. Cardano's down. It's a pretty brutal day on the market for crypto. Now, there was a reason for that. And we're going to get to that in a little bit. We'll talk about that when we talk a little bit more. But before I get to that, I want to, let's see here. First of all, let's get that out of the way. I want to say hello to the folks who are in the house. So yeah, huge shout out to everybody. Vic was in the house earlier today at 10:52 in the morning. I don't know if you're back yet or not, Vic, but hi. Nice to see you. We got a howdy from Vancouver Isle guy. Perlova is saying the Bears are getting ready for the attack. Yeah, the Bears have been in control of the market thus far. Chad's in the house saying good day all. And red is a good buying opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. If you're looking for buying opportunities, these red days certainly help get you a little bit of a discount on some of your favorite stocks. Mario's in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. And Chad did that. Chad did go shopping, picked up some PSA cash, some VDY, VFV, SCHD. Got your TELUS dividend last night. So, and that's in your RRSP, and that's set on a drip. Perfect. Mary's in the house with a hello. Hello, Mary. It's good to see you. And yeah, red is a buying opportunity. Ian says, hello, everybody. Bought 27 shares of CPX today. There we go. CPX. Skiz is in the house. Hello, all, says Skiz. Hi, Skiz. It is good to see you. Stan Gray's in the house with a hello all. Chad wants to know how your date went, Skiz. I think Skiz had a date on New Year's Eve, if I remember correctly. Perlovia says, upped the Red Sea disaster prior to opening trade day today and went a bit crazy buying energy stocks. First at open, worked out okay thus far. Yeah, absolutely. Chad says 5% when they had 168% this year. 5% nothing in crypto. No, it's not. It's really not a big deal. And basically, in a nutshell, what happened is this one little rumor mill, so a website that does a lot of rumors, they basically said, oh, by the way, everybody, they said that spot Bitcoin ETF is going to get denied in January, and the market panicked. And they also said, they also recommended people start shorting crypto. So either some people started doing it, but it did impact the market. There was a very, very big red candle on Bitcoin for sure. But once again, this is a news source that they don't have the best track record, so it's not something I think people really need to worry too much about. Let's see, BTC. Amanda's in the house with a hi. Jordan says, good afternoon, Candace and chat fam. Good afternoon, Jordan. Good to see you. Let's see. Tellus says, own Tellus in RRSP, TFSA, and personal account. Wow, you've got a lot of Tellus. And as for that date, Skiz has already told us a gentleman never tells. So we're not going to learn anything about that. Carol's in the house saying hi, you all. And Chad says MicroStrategy sold some shares. Yeah, they did put some shares up for sale. MicroStrategy, I think, has had a pretty good year considering they have so much Bitcoin on their balance sheet. They've been doing well. They've been doing well. That is absolutely for sure. What time do we get there? I'm not going to miss the I'm not going to miss the bell this time. Yesterday I was like an entire minute late when it comes to the bell. So let's pull up one more thing here. Let's see here. I'm just going to, I have to, for some reason, it won't let me pull two screens up that I can have parked and ready to go. But it's just a couple of clicks to get this up. Here we go. I got to lean over to see past the camera. There we go. This is, of course, our good old watch list. So when we look at the watch list, holy cow, not many things in the green on the watch list. It's mostly in the red. We've got Fairfax Financial and we have CP currently sitting in the green on the watch list. So, and Fairfax Financial, let's just take a look at these guys here. Oh, they've been doing pretty good. So this is the 1 year chart. So let's just look at the last 3 months. They were down a bit, but they've been kind of going a little sideways, I suppose. But when you look at it on the 1 year, they've definitely come a long way. And that's probably why we have them on the good old watch list. And then CP. So CP as in Canadian Pacific, Kansas Southern. This is their 1 year. So they've come down a little bit, but this is expected. The drop that we see here in CP, that is all of the financial, basically it's all the money changing hands in that purchase with Kansas City Southern. So I don't think it's a bad thing. So yeah, that is our, I'm just going to keep it off to the side so we can pull it up if you guys want to add stuff to it. We have that already. Okay, let's get through these as we move towards the bell. All right, Chad says, plus people taking profit to sell on the news of the spot ETF, which the SEC is not in kind, but cash settled only. Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, when prices go up, there's another thing too that's interesting thing about the red is when we're looking at the beginning red in the market, one thing that has happened is you have a lot of these people who, a lot of institutional investors who basically, they're in a situation where they went off for the holidays, they come back from the holidays, they're ready to start investing, but you got the market coming out of the new year at a lot of all-time highs. And what do you do when you have a market in all-time highs if you're an institutional investor? Well, you start shorting the market. So that's part of the red that we're seeing is these guys starting to short it. So instead of just buying, they're putting in shorts. That in itself is, it's not being good to the market, but we will recover. Will we recover this week? Don't know, but I'd like to see some green by Friday. And let's see. Vancouver Isle guy says meltdown. That's not a meltdown. We're not even close to a meltdown. Carol says, do you think a correction is coming? Well, there's always corrections coming. But do I think there's going to be a correction right now? Well, you could almost say that what we're seeing right now is a little bit of that. As you do have the institutional investors, a lot of them who are shorting things. There's a little bit of pressure downward. So this could be seen as a small correction, but I think we're going to see a lot of this in the first half of the year. So I think the market, we're going to see basically, it's going to be like a seesaw for the first half of the year. And then by the second half of the year, when we start seeing some of these rate cuts, I think then we're going to have a different story. We're going to see things moving more to the upside than the downside for sure. And of course, Chad goes, what goes up must come down, unfortunately. Yes and no. And I'll give you an example. I'm just going to pick, we'll go with CNR. I mean, if you look at their, let's see here. Let's go to their 5-year chart here. So you can sort of see, this doesn't look like a 5-year chart, but yeah, no, it is. Oh, yeah, 18. You'll kind of see that things over time always do trend to move to the upwards when it comes to the market. So you don't normally get a big drop. Now, in some situations, if you guys, I did a video about a year ago on Japan. They had this one situation back, well, I think it was the 80s, where they got inflated. Their market got inflated so badly that after that crash, they've never got back to those all-time highs. But that's because they were very much inflated. And when you actually look at a correlation, so if you do a correlation on where they were before they got inflated to where they were after, you actually see everything is actually moving normal, with that one giant leap up being pretty much nothing. Well, it's not nothing. It was a huge situation. But anyway, I'm not going to get too much into that. I'm just gonna pull this over here. All right, let's get rid of the watch list for the moment. Oh, yeah. As soon as I say that, someone says pull up the Mullen stock. Let's see. Correction happening now. Yeah, like it's a small correction. It's not a big correction, though. Pull up Mullen stock. Do we have them on the list? I don't know if we do or not. Let's pull it up and see. All right, what is your... I don't think I have a Mullen. What's the ticker? Give me the ticker for that, Chad, and we'll add it. And then we can take a look at it. Because I don't know here if I can... Well, I could... Let's see here. Let's just type in Mullen here. All right, Mullen MTL. Let's grab that. Let's add it. All right, here we go. And let's just look at the last 1 year on this one. Yeah, this doesn't look the best. But yeah, no, I can understand what you're saying. Oh, everything that goes up has to come down. Yeah, but it doesn't always come down as far as it used to. So I'm not sure what you want me to see on the Mullen Group stock. But yeah, they certainly have come down quite a bit. And I'd have to actually do a deep dive on these to find out exactly what's going on. I don't know a lot about Mullen Group, but we'll find out. And Skiz says 20 plus years to break even in Japan. Well, just to get back onto where it was before you got things pumped really, really big. Yeah, it's one of these crazy things. And it's a situation where it was such an aberration. In a way, if you think about it, it was a lot like what happened to Bitcoin. So when you look at Bitcoin, when it went to its all-time high, so that was an aberration that was caused by a whole bunch of money getting pumped into the economy, thanks to, I'm just paying attention to the clock here, thanks to all of the pandemic supports. And that all went into Bitcoin. People were looking, oh, look, we can make money fast. Bitcoin went flying through the roof, and then it crashed, of course. And we don't have that money in the system anymore. So if you ignore that all of the all-time high stuff and draw a straight line with Bitcoin, you'll actually see Bitcoin is exactly where it should be. So it's actually doing better than most people I think. Okay, it's time for the bell. Woo! Another day closed, another market in the bank. So I got it. I got the bell. We're all good. Let's see. I find it. MULN. Oh, I was looking at Mullen Group. Let me take a look at MULN. Let me pull that up here. Do I still have that? Okay. MULN. Okay. Oh, you were talking about Mullen Automotive in the US. Okay. Let's add that to them. And yeah, okay. Look at this. That's not a stock I would want to have been invested in. And I'm going to take a look at their 5-year. So you can kind of see this is a stock. Yeah, it really comes down to, I mean, if there's some serious issues in the stock, you can run into things like this. Like this is a company that if I look at this and I see this, I'm going to be very hesitant initially. I would have to go into their fundamentals and I would need to see some really good indications that they're about to recover from this. But from looking at this, I would be afraid of the stock, to be honest. Is EQB on the list? Well, if they're not, they can be. I'll just let's see here. EQB. There we go. Let's add EQB. There we go. And you'll look with EQB. I mean, let's just look at the last year. That's kind of good. I mean, this is a bank that's been doing really, really well. I recently did a deep dive on them, and I definitely loved their fundamentals. Now, if we come back here to our list here, why is this thing doing this? There we go. Get to it this way. So yeah, so even EQB is well, still the only thing that really finished has been Fairfax out of what we have, but I do have a lot of confidence in EQB. I use them as my main bank as well. They've been improving their service. They've been getting better and better every year. So definitely love the EQ Bank. All right, let me get rid of that for a moment. Vic, you're here. Yay. Such a high ending to 2023. Yeah, 2023 ended fantastically. But then, of course, we definitely had some issues. And Chad saying, yeah, Mullen junk, look at the 5-year. Yeah, I was looking at that. No, I was looking on that watch list and the 5-year and the 1-year were looking the same. So this is a brand new, because it's the Webull list. So there might be something hunky or hanky going on there. So we might have to look at it from another source. Let's see. Vic says, need a bit of relief. All right. Ian says, Blossom says I'm down 0.22%, but I bought some stocks, so maybe it's 0.5%. Not horrible. Okay, that's good. You gotta love Blossom. Perlovia says, Candace, the bell time. You see, this is it. You see, that's why I missed the bell yesterday. You guys weren't there yelling at me about the bell. But I got it today. And now that I'm only doing these once a week, or the occasional, I'll probably throw an odd one, extra one in there, just when nobody expects it, just for fun. So we'll have to see. JJ made it in. Hey, y'all. Very, very good. Chad wants to know how long you are in Colombia for, Ian. Do I remember you saying that you were there for 4 years? I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, let us know, Ian. Vic says, bought some office REITs today. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely looking strongly on REITs. Even the office REITs, I think they're going to struggle a bit more than REITs that are more well diversified, but I still feel pretty good about REITs overall for 2024. And when my prediction video comes out, you'll probably hear me mention REITs in it. Let's see. Vancouver Isle guy says down 5G past 3 days. Holy banana bread. Yeah, that's pretty big. Yeah, exactly. That's an ouch. But having an idea of some of the sums that you're working with, it's not that bad, and I think you'll recover that pretty fast once things turn back around. Let's see. And yeah, exactly. Ian says, I bought a one-way ticket, but probably not more than 3 months. Okay, I was way off. I thought 4 years, and it's just 3 months. Okay. It's 1,600, so nice. And that's military time for 4 o'clock. Watch Whitecap this week. Ah, yes. I will definitely watch Whitecap this week. I'm Energy's doing pretty good this week. It's gonna be an interesting year, I think, for energy. Like I know last year I was pretty bullish on energy. This year I'm not as bullish, but I still overall like energy long term. Vic says, anyone do after hours or pre-market trading? I don't, but there might be somebody here who does. Made it home for the bell. Hi, everyone, says Tim. And there we go. Chad does some off-hour trading. And Vic says to take advantage of moves, not moose. SoFi dropped 14%. Yep, gonna start day trading soon, says Chad. Okay, okay. Vic says, now that I've seen high prices, feel okay buying lower. Yeah, well, that's the thing. Buy low, sell high. It tends to work pretty well in your favor when you go that route. Vic says, don't do it, Chad. And Chad wants to know why. And Vic is recommending some swing trading to start. Yeah, absolutely. Swing trading is a lot less pressure, and you've got longer time frames. So, it's not a bad way to go. If you have no experience at all, just jumping into day trading, I would recommend using paper trading. So that's where you are not actually using real money, but you're doing it kind of in a virtual environment as a way just to sort of get the nicks out, get the learning down without it costing you a whole ton. Vic says, I have an exit strategy before you start trading. Oh yeah, have an exit strategy. Always have an exit strategy. Make sure you have your stop losses in place and stick to them. That's one of those things. It's like, if you jump on a trade and then it falls 3-4 ticks, well, if that's where you decided before you started that that's your exit strategy, you get out. You can't sort of say, okay, I know it's going to turn around. Well, it may not. And getting out, even if it does turn around, most times it doesn't, and you'll end up saving more money by getting out than the money you would have gained by that one time you just happened to ride it the right way. But with swing trading, you have much more room. Like if it's a proven entity, like for example, let's say you're trading oil, for example, and oil's already pretty much at the bottom of the barrel, which is kind of where we're at now. You kind of know it is going to come back. But you still have to look at it like, if you don't have a large amount of funds to trade, you may have to take a stop loss, take that loss and, move in at a different position. But, if you can let that sit, sometimes that's the best way to go. You can just let it set, let it recover, and then get out a couple of days later because hopefully you've split your money up amongst a lot of different stocks because you don't want to put all of that fish in the same barrel. Chad says, same thing. That's what I mean. Already swing trade a bit. Okay, perfect. And Trevor missed the bell. Drat. And you just got in. Oh, you see, yesterday you would have almost caught the bell because I was late. Sammer says, hello all. And Ian says, I'm still not going to work part-time in Canada. Oh, I'm still going to work part-time in Canada for the next 4 or 5 years. Maybe that's where you got the 4 years from. Maybe, I'm not sure. My mind, for whatever reason, grabbed the 4 from something. Chad says, if I make $1, $1, I'm happy. Vic, what's my favorite ex-smoker doing? So yeah, how is that doing, Vic? You're on day 2 or day 3 now. So hopefully that's going well for you. Let's see. Vic said Munger would have been 100 by now. Yeah. And Skiz says, Ian, hablas español? I hopefully pronounced that right. I don't know. I probably didn't. Vic says, smoke-free. Champagne started making me hate smoking. Good stuff. If it's working, Vic. Ian says, good luck with not smoking, Vic. I quit 8 years ago. It's great. Glad to hear, Vic. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm proud of you. I'm very proud of you, Vic. It's good to see you making some movements in the right direction. Ian says, Skiz, I speak a little, trying to learn by immersion. And Skiz says, bueno. And Vic says, starting at 298.5 pounds, hoping to lose weight, not money. Yeah, you don't want to lose money. Your money hopefully will grow, but you can certainly reduce your belt size. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sammer bought Sophie and BTCC.B and ALV. There we go. Vic says, Michael Saylor selling 216 million of stock. Yes, good old Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy. But like I said earlier, they really are looking good overall. They've got so much Bitcoin on their sheets. If Bitcoin does what everybody believes Bitcoin's going to do this year, Michael Saylor will basically look like a genius. With the amount of Bitcoin and the money that's going to make MicroStrategy, it'll be crazy. Ian says, Vic, be careful with Champex. It does work, but you might have some very crazy dreams. Just know you're not going crazy. It's the pills. Had a friend on those. Okay. So there we go, Vic. You'll have to come and tell us about your crazy dreams, provided that they're family, like G-rated type thing. We don't want to hear about anything non-G-rated. Prairie says, afternoon, everyone. A little late today. Oh, better late than never. Good to see you, Prairie. Vic says, I hear U.S. members of Congress are the best investors. Yeah, I've heard a few things like that too. So I'm just going to leave that there. Vic says BMO ETFs paying dividends today. So happy. Nice. There's nothing wrong with that. I love dividend days. It's always fun to get some dividends and, get in there and buy a couple of things. Vic says, didn't Michael Burry lose a lot by shorting S&P 500 and chip stocks? Oh, good old Michael Burry. I mean, here's this guy. He's made one giant prediction that came right. Of course, we're talking about the housing crisis back in 2008. Since then, every time he makes a prediction, people panic. But mostly he's been wrong since then. He's kind of like that clock. A clock is right twice, 2 times a day. So I always take anything Michael Burry posts as a grain of salt, with a grain of salt, not as a grain of salt. I mean, just last year as well, he posted that the market was going to crash and burn for the first half of the year. And then, of course, thanks to AI and tech, we had a little bit of a tech explosion. He had to basically come out and say sorry, So, yeah, Michael Burry, no, I don't put a lot of weight behind anything he says. Chad says, nice hold a BMO ETF. And Sammer saying, yeah, MicroStrategy owns 189,150 Bitcoin. Yeah, that's a lot. And Chad's saying that the USA owns more. And they got them beat. They're at 200,000 Bitcoin. Be careful. If Michael Saylor finds that out, he might be in the market for another 11,000 Bitcoin. And Vickers says, I'm using a TIKR. Anyone using that free stock site? I'm not. I've actually haven't even heard of that site, Vic. So TIKR, I'll have to check it out. And Vic says, I love a Bloomberg terminal, but it's for pros with a fee of $25,000 per year. Oh, yeah, that's a huge amount. So you probably are not ready to invest in a Bloomberg terminal. Now, I subscribe to TradingView, so I use that because that's where I use for tracking my stuff, and that's where the heat maps come from. So those heat maps I use, they're from TradingView. You might be able to access the heat maps, though, without having a paid subscription. But what I'll do with TradingView is it gives me up to the second market data. So that's good when I'm doing swing trading, for example. So it's and plus I can do a lot of drawing on it. So when I want to do some technical analysis, that is also one of the reasons I like that one. Yeah, that's the big thing. And like I said, well, with the watch list, like I said, I'm trying out the Webull for that. So we'll have to see how that works out. Maybe we'll switch to something else if I find something a little bit better. But right now we'll use the Webull. The watch list on My trading view has all the stocks that I trade regularly, like for swing trading and such. So, I can't use that that watch list unless there's a way, and I haven't figured. I have to look into it. Maybe there's a way I could create a secondary one because I have a feeling they would be a really good platform. Let's see. Vic says even if I limit to 21 BTC, they will keep splitting. Um, if you limit to 21 million, oh, well, no, you're never going to get more than 21 million. All it means is that each part of a Satoshi will become more and more valuable. So right now, and there was always a possibility too that down the road they could even change the nomenclature. Like, maybe a Bitcoin could be like a gold coin, and maybe they could create like a silver coin or something, where one of those, like one mini Bitcoin or something, would be worth 1/100th of a Bitcoin or something like that. There's always all kinds of things they can do, but they can continually split it lower and lower. And if we got to a point where we had to even subdivide the Satoshi, they could certainly do that. It's not a hard thing. Chad says USA stole the Bitcoin, by the way. Okay, well, maybe that's it. Maybe the US just keeps on adding to their stash because, all the Bitcoin they seize, from crime and everything else. That wouldn't surprise me. Vic says, what's the end game with end of market streams? What's the end game with these streams? Like the stream that we're doing right now? I don't know if there's an end game. It's just something to enhance the channel, something to, give us more opportunities to interact. No real end game. I've got no end game for it. As far as I know, I plan to do it all the way through 2024 and probably beyond. Because yeah, it's fun. Sammer said, did everybody load up the CAD 7000 TFSA already? So have you guys been spending your $7,000? I mean, those of you who are at the limit. So, there's a good question. Yeah, let us know. Vic says, seems like a lot of work. Oh, you're talking about this? Believe it or not, the amount of preparation I have to do for this stream is less than I have to do, for example, the news stream. So this week is much more time intensive because the beautiful thing is a lot of the stuff I'm reacting to on here when it comes to the market, the heat map, things like that. It's live, right? It's happening on its own. I don't have to create the heat map. It already exists. So little things like that. And you guys, if you guys keep, for me, like when I come in and I do the stream, when you guys just sort of slam me with questions, that's my best case scenario. I come in and I have all kinds of questions I can answer. We can just talk and chat about whatever. That always works well. Keith says, hi, Candace. What software website are you using to show the heat map of stock changes? That heat map is TradingView. So I use TradingView for that. I also use TradingView for, well, here, give me a second here. I'm going to stop that one. I'm going to bring up a whole full screen here for you guys. And let's do this here. Give me 1 second. Present, share screen, entire screen. Here we go. So this here is TradingView. So this here is the one I use. So as you can see here, we're actually on Bitcoin right now. So you can see this is that massive drop that rumor caused. So here's the nice thing with Bitcoin. Like right now, all I have on here is I just simply have some of the moving averages. Over on the side, this is my watch list here. So it has a little bit of everything from the US dollar, the S&P 500. So there, we finished in the red. We finished the red there. And look at this gold. The only thing in the green today was actually WTI. So, the energy stocks and oil did pretty good. And then down below, these are just stocks that I trade. You can sort of see them all through in here. So these are the ones I currently am working on. I'm constantly moving them and removing them. So, for example, I was doing some stuff on ESI today. So like earlier on ESI, I bought some down here and then I sold it up here. You guys can see that, right? Yeah. So I bought down here, sold up here. Those are just the little type of trades that I make. I've also, I've also been playing with this one here, BTCY. Now, definitely, I'm sitting on that because of that big drop this morning. I was holding some last night. So when Bitcoin did its little plunge, BTCY followed. So, but it's almost made up what it was at. So I figure by sometime early in the middle of, maybe the middle of tomorrow, maybe the middle of Friday, I will probably be back to a point where I had bought in. So that's kind of what I do. But there's all kinds of different things. Like if I want, for example, I can draw lines like that, nice and simple. So that way there, if I wanted to put in a resistance or say, like, let's say I'm saying, okay, well, there's a little bit of a bottom, so that's acting as a resistance. I can put all of that in. So yeah, and this is just, it's a really good, I find it to be a really good usable viewer. And the heat maps, of course, are a part of it. So I'm not going to navigate to it, but I'll just pull it over. So this is just another part of TradingView, the heat maps. So, and the heat maps, I find them just absolutely kind of cool. So with the Bitcoin, I could actually jump into the Bitcoin as well and pull up a heat map on that, pull up a chart on that as well. Now keep in mind, this is a much longer one right now. So, I could, for example, pull it over this way and give you guys a better view of what happened today. Here we go. So you can sort of see there's that drop once again. But yeah, so anyway, just they are pretty darn cool. All right, let me just drag this back. There we go. All right, now where was I? Let's see. Vic says, I can't believe I missed Bitcoin in 2013. Yeah, I had an opportunity to get into Bitcoin even before 2013. And I just thought it was crazy. I was like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that. And at the time, it was like around $1 a coin. Like this was a long time ago. I can't believe I just sort of dismissed it. I thought it was a scam. But yeah, little did I know. I could have just bought 10 of them and held on to them. That would have been a really nice thing. But, what can you say? Live and learn. Sam are waiting to income tax refund max my RRSP than TFSA contributions. Okay, so you're waiting for your income tax. Ian says, I topped up my TFSA the other day. There we go. Ian was on the ball. Sammer says each Bitcoin has 100 million Satoshis. Can't split more than that. Well, you can't with the current software, but you could make amendments to split more if they had agreement. Like they have to get agreement amongst all the mine, not all of them, but a majority. It could be done. I don't think it will be anytime soon. Like it probably won't be in our lifetime. Vic says, I goofed over contributing to RRSP in lukewarm water with the CRA. Yeah, well, just when you do over contribute, I usually say, just correct it right away. If you over contribute and you corrected it right away and the CRA does notice it, they're not going to come to you and be like, oh my God, they're going to say, oh, look, you made a little error, but you fixed it. Great. Good on you. Yeah, so fix it. Anytime you over contribute, fix it right away. Fingers up. TradingView review incoming. Skiz, that's a good idea. I could probably do a TradingView review. So, and I don't recall ever seeing anybody else doing a TradingView review. So, I'll put that on my short list. Yeah, I like that idea. It's a good idea, Skiz. Vic says I have to pay a decent penalty and take extra out. Once again, if you fix it right away, you're probably fine. But if you over contribute and it's there for any amount of time, then yeah, that penalty will start to happen. And I can't remember what the penalty is on the RRSP per se, but it's pretty steep because they don't want you over contributing. Ian says, I'm hoping I did not over contribute on my RRSP last year. Might be a few grand over. And you'll find out. You will find out once the tax time comes and the papers start hitting. Let's see. Skiz says maybe you get a sponsor from them. You never know. You never know. I mean, it's a product I do use and I like. So that to me would fit the criteria for a sponsorship, right? Chad says only 1% per $1,000 or $100. I forget. It's not much. Yeah, I mean, it's not huge, but it's still, anything that's taking money away from you, I kind of don't like very much. Let's see. Regen, 54% of my portfolio did well. Good to hear, Larry. Good to hear. Vic says I was 5 figures over, just over 2K penalty. 5 figures over. Holy banana bread. And Vic says I'm opening up a national bank direct brokerage to try them out and no fee trading. Yes, I use them. Just I'll put that out there. I do use national banks direct brokerage. I do like them. Keith says, cool. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Chad says, I don't know. CSU, VDY, Hydro One, Coke, Pepsi, PKI, ZWC. Tell us Bell in the green today. Yeah, there's definitely a few. Like I noticed that a lot of the some of the utility companies, like Hydro One, for instance, the green. A lot of the energy were in the green. Enbridge too. Yeah, absolutely. ATZ, ZID, all green. iSwing, CSU. All right. Hold it forever till I retire. All right. Buy 10 shares on the dip, sell $50 per share, rise for a profit of $500. Very, very cool. All right. And Ian says, whoops. Ian says this, I bought 7K RRSP in August. If I did, can I just defer it a year? No, they will penalize you for the extra in there. I don't think they're going to let you defer it. But you can definitely defer the tax benefit of the stuff that's legitimately in your RRSP because you don't have to use it. I mean, you can defer it as long as you want to, which is kind of nice. Vic says January to February 28th, you can claim for the past year or next year. Yeah, and here's the thing too. Just keep this in mind. So with the RRSP, you basically, it doesn't end at the end of the year the way everything else does. So the RRSP goes until the beginning of March. And keep in mind, Vic, there's 29 days in February this year. But yeah, so anything that happens in that time, you can still add, like you can still right now put money into your RRSP and use it at tax time, which is kind of one of the nice things about it. Let's see here. Now, Vic says, if things go back to October 2023, I'll buy huge. Yeah. Not even October 23. If you could go back to October 2022, that was kind of like, so far, that's the bottom of the bear market. I mean, that was when we hit rock bottom, and we've been on a very, very slow climb out of that hole since then. So, yeah, if you go back to October, make it 2022, Vic. Chad says, but you have $2,000 buffer, but charged monthly. Yeah, I'm not sure how big the buffer is, but yeah, I mean, then that's not too bad. If they don't charge you, and I have to look at that. I haven't looked at it in a while. If they don't charge you, then that would be very good, which is nice. But here's one of the other things too. If you are eligible for the first home savings account, you can always open up one of those. And then you can work on filling that. And once that one's filled, even if you don't plan to buy a home after the 15 years, it'll roll back into your RRSP, and that will create basically 40 plus, however, because if you let's say you put 40,000 in, but you grew it up to 60,000, there's a 60,000 extra free room going right into that RRSP for you. So it will give you a bit more space, which is kind of nice. You know what I haven't done yet today? I have not had any of my coffee. Now, this is not Starbucks coffee. It's just a Starbucks mug. Starbucks makes great mugs. I'm not sold on their coffee though. Very good. And I think somebody actually messaged me the other day and asked me, what type of coffee is that? It looks so good. It's quite literally, it's Maxwell House Instant. I'm one of these weird people. I like instant coffee, and I like Maxwell House. Like most other companies, instant coffee tastes like crap. But I do like the Maxwell House instant coffee. It tastes fantastic for me. I'd rather have that than a brewed coffee. But like I said, apparently, apparently I'm like not many people like that. So that's kind of interesting. Yes, this is a huge point too. TradingView is great because they do cover Canadian stocks, and so does the TC 2000. So yeah, for example, with let's pull this back up again. So, all right. So one of the things that you'll notice here is you'll see EQX right here, but I have it listed twice. That's because this is the Canadian version of EQS, and this here is the US version of EQX. So if I want to play it in Canada or the US. Now, one of the nice things is, now you have to pay for this, by the way, if you want up-to-date times. So that's part of my subscription. So I have added Canada as one of the countries, or the TSX as one of the ones I want instant updates on. So I do get that as well for this. And it is pretty darn good. So I got to say this. And you have, like, if you look over on the side, you have like so many different indicators that you can use. So it's just really, really, really a nice program altogether. But once again, I'm not trying to sell you guys over onto them. I'm just pointing it out. Let's get rid of this. There we go. Will bring me back up to full size. Vic says, with car prices, we need next car savings account, NCSA. Well, yeah, maybe. Or we could even have a used car saving account. So a UCSA too, perhaps. And Vic says Nescafe. Oh, here's the funny thing. I'm one of these people that I don't know what it is, but Nescafe tastes terrible for me. I've had a time where I've run out of my Maxwell house, and either a roommate or Jill has had some Nescafe, and I just can't have it. I would, I just can't do it. I can't do Nescafe. Now, I used to like Taster's Choice. That's actually made by Nescafe, but the regular Nescafe, I just can't do it. Let's see here. Chad says, Ontario, the cheapest place in Canada to buy a car. That doesn't surprise me. That really doesn't surprise me. And Chad says, I like Loblaws instant coffee or co-op. There is a no-name coffee brand. I'm sure you can get it at Loblaws. With the yellow label and everything, so no name. And it tastes very similar to Maxwell House. So that is one of the exceptions. I have a feeling, because a lot of times these no-name things are basically left over from, a brand name, and then they end up getting, sold to, Loblaws or whoever, or No Frills, and they get packaged up. And so they're the exact same as the brand name. So that's the one exception. I think that yellow no-name is probably, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised if it actually was Maxwell House, because it tastes very, very, very similar. Whoops. And Vic says, why do first-time would-be homeowners get FHSA? What about who'd like to buy groceries or a car? Well, it's not even first-time homeowners. There's a whole bunch of stipulations for it. As long as if you're going for a second house, but you no longer live in your first house and you've been away from it, I can't remember exactly how long you have to be away from it, but you would still be eligible at that point for the FHSA. So it's not really first time anymore. So, kind of interesting. And groceries. Sammer says we should have a grocery savings account or a GSA. Yeah, I could go with that. Folgers. I've never tried Folgers. So I can't give you an opinion on Folgers, unfortunately. Are we really comparing instant coffees, drink brew, the real thing? I know, Skiz. I know we are. We are talking about instant coffee. I can't believe it. Chad says Loblaws cheap. Yeah. That's the thing. My tastes are pretty cheap. So when it comes to coffee, that instant, like I said, instant Maxwell or that yellow no name, I'll go with that too, because they taste fine and I'm absolutely happy with it. Vic says most of us are the nickel and dime crew. Well, that's a name I haven't heard in a while. So nickel and dime crew, that was kind of a name that was keyed by or coined by. Yeah, it was coined by. I like that. It was coined by Hirai over on his channel when he used to do videos and lives and all that fun stuff. But yeah, nickel and dime crew, sort of the whole philosophy of you don't have to be rich to invest. Just take that spare money and that spare cash and drop it on into your investments, and you're off to the races. Especially as it all starts to compound, like you get enough dimes compounding, and maybe you drop a quarter or two. It works. It works. Skid says, for the record, Loblaws is not cheap trading at all-time high, even with its drop. Yeah, no, Loblaws is, I mean, they've been doing really, really well. Most of the grocery stores have been, so Loblaws, Metro, and you're, yeah, they're pretty much at all-time highs. But here's the thing, I think they're still going to do well for the foreseeable future. It is one of these things that even if people start feeling like we're in a recession, the one thing they're not going to really skimp on is groceries. They still need to eat. So that tends to put a lot of safety in some of the grocery stocks. And Chad says, yes, the yellow no name from Loblaws. Ouch, I see what you meant. I saw, and Chad sold his Loblaw stock. And Jonathan says, the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup. Oh dear. I almost felt like I should have hummed the tune to it as well. But yeah, I can't do that. Chad says, ha ha ha. Vic says, what does anyone have actual stock certificates from back in the day? That would be kind of cool. I would love, I would love to know when we sort of transitioned away from the stock certificates, how they handled that. That would be a really interesting thing to know. Whether it was a situation where you had to not cash them in, but hand them in. And then they would say, okay, now you got the electronic copies, or maybe they just let you hold them. I don't know. I honestly have no idea how that transition worked, but I would love to know. Skiz says, because everyone needs to eat, recession proof. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Walmart, Dollarama, and even Alimentation, Kushbud. Oh, that's a different store. Alimentation Couche-Tard as well. I mean, because sometimes, like if you think about it, if you've got a corner store not that far from you, you're not going to drive to the grocery store if it's on the other side of your community to get some milk, because just the amount that you would save by doing that, you probably would have burnt up in gas. So yeah, buddy, says Vancouver Isle guy. Some of us may discover stock certificates in loved ones' safety deposit boxes. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice just to get a bunch of paperwork from somebody who has unfortunately passed on, but inside you find a bunch of old Microsoft stocks, or maybe a Google stock. I mean, that would be totally, totally, totally funny. Larry says, I use certificates for my corp. There we go. Perlovia says, got some sap today. It's at low price. Vic wants to know what Larry does. And Larry says, I'm in waste management for the safety. There will always be trash. That there will be. Absolutely. I actually, I don't want to say I did trash, but I actually did some science around trash. More or less collected water samples from a solid waste site, making sure that they didn't have any nasties in them before being released into the environment. So things like biological oxygen demand and all of that fun stuff. Bud, Candace, you outed yourself. I don't do drugs at all. So it was just, I don't know where that came from, but it's funny. It's funny. After I said it, I knew somebody would jump on it, and I'm not surprised it was you, Skiz, but hey, there's nothing wrong with that. Vic says, your own company and thoughts on ZWC. Let's pull up and see how ZWC is doing here. Boop-a-doo-doo. So that's, of course, the BMO, Canadian High Dividend Covered Call ETF. So they've got a nice, they have a nice looking dividend yield, and they are slowly starting to recover. I do like, I mean, I like the management over at BMO. I do find that they do run their ETFs pretty good. Um, this one's not bad. Honestly, for a covered call ETF, it's not a super high dividend, but um, that kind of means that you're getting almost no erosion of capital with this one. So I do certainly, I would say I like this one. I'll go out on a limb and say, yeah, ZWC looks pretty good from my initial looking. Chad says been climbing the last week or so. Yeah, I can see that. Chad says hold WCN, 2 great stock, another Waste Connections. Let's see here. Larry says, I work at a tech firm, run a small hedge fund, and have a small corp 38 shareholders. Very, very good. GFL2, GFL, I believe, is also in the waste management business. And Safe Dividend. Yeah, I think their dividend is looks much better than some of the really high ones. Let's see. Skiz says, I'm up 10% on my GFL. And Vic says, Larry, your own Berkshire type partnership. Awesome. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, today, if you can find a way to make some money, that's pretty good. And Larry says, I can only add 35 shareholders a year. Otherwise, I have to register with the SEC. That makes sense. That makes sense. Anytime you can create that limit to prevent you from getting involved in more regulation, that's not a bad limit to make. Vic says, and what do you do with all the extra all the extra free time? There we go. Skiz says, we all need to invest in Larry. There we go. Larry, you'll have to get 35 shareholders from the community, I guess. Skiz is in line. Skiz is in line waiting. Hopefully, though, Skiz has better luck than with a membership. That's for sure. I still can't believe during all that membership drive that Skiz didn't. Now, speaking of the memberships, I was looking at where we're at after that drive, and we currently have 95 community or channel members, and I'm like, we are so close to 100. I have to do it. I'm going to push us to 100 right now. That'll be a great way to end today. Then I can say I got my 100 channel members. You know, and maybe we'll hit Skiz this time. It's hard to say. I don't know. I'm not even going to attempt to name the first winner. I don't. Yeah, no, not going there. The second one is Michael Proman, Apollo, Bonnie Alsup, and Kay Miller. There we go. There we go. So we finished all the holiday stuff and moving into January. We got 100 channel members. Fantastic. Cannot wait to do the next channel member live stream. That's going to be a lot of fun. Larry said, I copy Buffett Munger. Sammer, it is impossible. And poor Skiz, who did not win, says, congrats all. No Skiz win again. Congratulations, new members. Sorry. Vic says, hit the like button, y'all. Yeah, we're at the end, but yeah, hit it anyway. It never hurts. Skiz says, I'm never coming back to this channel. Oh, Skiz, you'll be back. You're addicted. You can't help it. You'll be back. I would be surprised. I'd be surprised. And Vancouver guy says, congratulations to all the winners. Absolutely. All right, guys, this has been fun. And we're going to do this every single week. So every Wednesday, we got this live stream for the market close. And like I said, there'll be the occasional one that we'll just drop a second one here and there. But we won't drop a second one next week because, you know, it'd be nice to have a slower week than normal. I've been very busy over the holidays. So until then, guys, Take care. We will see you guys again really, really soon. We got a video coming out, and we got a this week on Sunday. So we'll see you then as well. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.